person. What is the lay person is any bystanders, anybody standing around, right? So we're the fire department, we have a lot of special equipment, right? But without you guys doing something before we get there, our equipment is useless. And I'll talk a little bit about science before we get started. So let's say somebody goes into what's called a cardiac arrest, right? They stop breathing. How long does your brain have without oxygen that it can still be not permanent damage, brain damage? How many minutes? Close.
3 minutes, 30.
4 to 6 minutes, right? So 4 to 6 minutes without any oxygen to your brain, you become brain dead, right? So the purpose of CPR will be useless at that point, because more than likely, you're not gonna be able to walk out of the hospital. The way that the American Heart Association dictates that this is an actual resuscitation is if the person walks outside of the hospital with their own 2 feet, right? That's considered a successful person that was brought back to life. But before we even get into CPR, how to do CPR and that stuff, considerations that we have to think about is it safe for us to be there, right? Number 1 priority is gonna be your safety first. What does that mean? If I come across somebody that got shot, is it safe for me to be there doing CPR to this person? Probably not, because the person that just tried to kill somebody can come back and try to hurt you. So it's not safe for you to be there. If it's a motor vehicle accident or a crash on the turnpike and something happened on the turnpike, is it going to be safe for me to get off my car in the center lane on the turnpike and start trying to revive somebody there? Probably not, because you're going to get hit by another car, right? You want to share something with us? You guys are good, or you want to share something with us?
I had a question too.
Alright, hold on to the questions to the end. Alright, so first things first, is it safe for us to be there? And then the second thing that we have to take into consideration is a person, do they have injuries incompatible with life? What does that mean? If it looks really, really bad and their head is somewhere else, or they're cold, stiff, and they've been dead for a while, there's no point in doing CPR to that person, right? That means that more than likely, they're dead once we get there. We really don't do much for that person. All right? So CPR. So before we used to do CPR, we used to what? Do CPR compressions, and we used to breathe into their mouth, right? We're not doing that anymore. This is only, hands only CPR. What does that mean? We're only gonna push hard and fast on the chest. There's also other things called like an AED and stuff like that, but we're not going to even talk about the AED because of your age. Your age will only allow us to teach CPR. Hands only CPR, right? Hands only CPR. That's all it is. So how are we going to do CPR? So first things first, we come across somebody that's not breathing. We're not going to check for a pulse, because in previous times, people used to check for a pulse, and your thumb actually generates a pulse. So when people would check for a pulse with their thumb, they'll say, oh, they have a pulse, but they were feeding their own thumb, right? So they said, we're gonna go away from that. So if anybody calls 911, one of the first things they're gonna ask you, the 911 operator, is, are they breathing? Check if they're breathing. If they're not breathing and they're not moving,